In this video, we're climbing a mountain full of good news and eventually reaching some truly excellent updates. It's such an exciting journey that you won't want to miss it. We begin with the good and move steadily toward the great. I'm confident you'll be excited, but if you're not, that's okay too. Everyone has their own perspective. It's rewarding to see that no athletes are refusing to play due to contract issues. I'm glad we're not heading into an off-season full of conflicts. Throughout my career, there's always been some kind of controversy involving the quarterback at some point. Not having that is genuinely wonderful. When most of the players are present, the atmosphere in the locker room becomes incredible. The weight room is in great shape. The players are truly putting in the work. We've got several new free agents this year, so it's essential that everyone gets to know one another before the intense training routine begins. Honestly, I could dedicate an entire video to this topic. I won't, but it's possible because I firmly believe in the power of good vibes and how negative they were last offseason, something I never fully bought into. At the time, we discussed how I didn't think the reports about bad energy during training camp were legitimate. I believe it was a bit overblown. There were people talking about it and many saying, come on, but the truth is it was absolutely valid. You can call it whatever you want. Super Bowl hangover, player disinterest. It was probably a blend of everything. However, the players just weren't themselves last season, and it was clear. Injuries added to the complications, along with several coaching issues, which explains exactly how the team ended up with 6 wins and 11 losses. This year feels different, and it has since the beginning. The players had to sit at home watching the playoffs from the outside, fully aware that they were out of the action for a while. The energy has shifted. The offseason approach has been different. Everything that has happened from this offseason up until now has been encouraging. From my perspective, we're heading in the right direction. One of the athletes is really feeling that change and made a point to speak about it. He mentioned how he's been mentoring a young quarterback and how that mentoring is a tradition passed down, now reaching him. The only real difference is that a quarterback's contract looks very different from that of a tight end. I was simply trying to be realistic and connect things in the best way I could. There are many similarities between the two. Two athletes who came out of nowhere, neither of whom had high expectations placed on them, and both went on to exceed those expectations. One progressed a bit faster than the other over several years, while the other broke out in just about 6 games. When asked what kind of advice he had given, he recalled a moment from his own previous contract negotiation and a lesson he received from a former teammate. I forgot to mention his name earlier. When asked about the advice he gave a player, he recalled a moment from a past contract negotiation and a valuable lesson from a teammate. My first experience with contract negotiations was in 2020, and it was a pretty drawn-out process. That teammate simply told me, hey, listen, contracts are like braces. You hate them. They look awful the entire time you have to wear them, but once they come off, you got a dazzling smile and a nice stack of money, and you don't remember a thing about the braces. I thought that was incredible. It perfectly captures how these situations feel. I'm truly grateful to have a leader like that. Those insights were extremely valuable, and if I can pass them on to others, they'll benefit too. It's a brilliant quote that was shared. I used that phrase with a teammate, and he also found it helpful. That painted a vivid picture of the camaraderie we often talk about, this value we emphasize, and the reason why he's not just an exceptional player. I'm convinced he's the best at his position right now. But more than that, he's a leader. He supports his teammates. He's the kind of person who lifts others up. When someone was struggling in a game, he was there offering encouragement. When a pass was intercepted, he was right there giving support. That says everything about the kind of person he is, and I'll genuinely value seeing that. So if anyone is radiating that positive energy right now, it's definitely him. I'm excited about the continuation of that leadership and the passing of that wisdom to the next generation of players. I think it's wonderful. Positive results will come for sure. Still, we need to talk about this one player who keeps improving each day. It's getting more impressive. I understand. I hear you. I sense the skepticism in your mind thinking, well, he hasn't played a minute in the league yet, so let's wait before we call him a success. That's fair. He needs to prove himself, right? But with the information we currently have, things have only been heading in a positive direction. I get your point. I hear the skepticism in your thoughts wondering, but he hasn't played in the league yet, so let's wait before considering him the best. That's a valid argument. He still needs to show what he's capable of. However, based on the data available, everything suggests both the team and the player are on a promising path. Recently, several notable reports emerged from various sources. Just think about that for a second. There's a chance he could reach an elite level. This draft was crucial as the team is in the process of rebuilding multiple positions. One of those areas clearly needed attention, which is why they thoroughly evaluated defensive players. When management started going through their options, they discovered a young pass rusher who had already begun to stand out. They identified a strong, tall athlete with impressive skills, capable of playing both inside and outside positions, reminiscent of players who had held key roles in the past. Interestingly, at the time, they didn't know he was playing through an injury. He had suffered a severe ankle sprain, but returned to the field in under a month and kept competing despite the injury through the end of the season. That information was kept quiet, but even then, he remained an effective defender and continued. 2 impact quarterbacks, even if he didn't register many sacks. Things keep getting better. This suggests, in my opinion, that there's more potential here than most people realize. Once the draft process started and coaches got involved, the excitement about adding him only grew. The defensive line coach, after reviewing game film, said he was the best at his position. During a meeting, when asked in a decisive moment, "Where would you like to line up?" he gave a clear answer: San Francisco's admiration for this player is undeniable. The defensive line coach, after watching his tape, ranked him as the top edge control player in college football. In a meeting with the general manager and coach, he was asked where he'd prefer to be positioned on 3rd down in the Super Bowl. His response was that he wanted to line up over the guard, highlighting both his adaptability and the grit he showed by playing through injury. This athlete, once projected as a potential 1st overall pick when he stood out as a freshman on a winning team, now has the opportunity to grow into that potential. The team made their intentions clear when they tried to strike a deal with Carolina, aiming to leapfrog New Orleans, who was also eyeing him, just to secure his selection. After he was drafted, the defensive line overhaul continued with the addition of a powerful defensive player out of Texas. The team brought in someone with an 85-inch wingspan, evoking memories of the days when San Francisco had a dominant duo anchoring the line. In the 4th round, a defender from Indiana was selected, someone who had been scouted during a fall game and consistently disrupted plays deep in the backfield. With these two as cornerstones, there's growing optimism about generating more consistent run stops and untapped pass rushing power. With the addition of a reliable partner, many new faces will be stepping up under the guidance of the new defensive coordinator. There's a strong expectation that this transition will pay off over time. The atmosphere is filled with optimism as the team shapes its defensive line strategy in this draft. If certain players had been available at different times, the current outlook might look very different. One alternate player, for instance, was likely on their radar but was drafted before they had a chance. As it stands, they now have a player once projected as the 1st overall pick who performed admirably even while injured and who could soon become a very strong, versatile asset. And there's another highly adaptable athlete. What the team is doing now may face initial challenges, but there's a real sense that by the end of the season, we'll have a much clearer picture of the talent on the defensive line and its potential impact. Comparisons to other players are valid and meaningful. Of course, they still have to prove it on the field. I'm not claiming to see something you can't. I'm just sharing my impressions and enthusiasm. I sincerely hope you share that excitement because I believe the team made a meaningful impact. If there's one area where a dramatic improvement could make a difference, where would you want it to happen? In the trenches, that's crucial. And that need has been addressed for some time now. In fact, it's not just about the defensive line, it's also the offensive line and back and forth. The offensive line, however, is already at a decent level, so there's no need for the kind of complete overhaul that the defensive line required, which had been lacking depth. There just wasn't much there. That's not to diminish the efforts of those who contributed last season in a difficult year, but the high-end talent necessary to compete at the expected level simply wasn't there. I'm genuinely excited about this particular group of young players. I'm not making any Super Bowl declarations. I'm not going to make those kinds of predictions. I won't create that narrative for you. There was a conversation where someone was asked about that on a show, though I can't recall which one. Either way, that's not the point. They were asking about exploring the idea of the Super Bowl isn't something I intend to do. I won't spin that narrative. Recently, the topic came up regarding the team's Super Bowl ambitions, but this is not the right moment for that. This is a team hungry to compete. The focus should be on embracing the mindset of being the hunters, not the hunted. That's the attitude to carry into the early part of the season. If people want to talk about playoff ambitions or Super Bowl dreams, the first step must be simply earning a playoff spot. Securing a position in the NFC West is key, especially since there's a growing belief that this team is the best in the division. Now it's time to go out and prove it, validate that belief with action. There's real anticipation about what's ahead, and hopefully others feel the same energy. In just a few days, the rookie minicamp begins, followed shortly by the schedule release, which is only a week away. That means we're just 8 days out, and that's exciting because it'll offer essential insight into the daunting list of opponents and the opportunities ahead. A clear picture of the talent they'll be facing and the level of challenge posed by their rivals will begin to take shape. It'll also be interesting to assess rest differentials and similar metrics to better understand how this team is positioned, including the number of games in prime time. There's a widespread belief that this team is ready for a major comeback. That's the sentiment right now, and any reflections on that are more than welcome. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers, your 6 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Trevor Lawrence, one of the most highly anticipated quarterbacks in recent NFL history, arrived at the San Francisco 49ers headquarters today to finalize his contract with the team. The young star, who has already garnered attention for his impressive college career at Clemson, is set to make a significant impact in the professional league, and the 49ers are eager to welcome him into their fold. Lawrence's arrival marks a pivotal moment for the franchise, as the 49ers have been looking for a quarterback who can lead them back to their championship contending days. With a promising roster already in place, the addition of Lawrence is expected to further elevate the team's aspirations. The 49ers have long been a dominant force in the NFL, and their pursuit of Lawrence signals their commitment to returning to glory. After being selected as the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Lawrence has been the subject of much excitement, with analysts and fans alike projecting him to become one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks. His arrival in San Francisco, however, marks the beginning of what many hope will be a long and prosperous career in the NFL. Lawrence, known for his strong arm, poise under pressure, and leadership qualities, is expected to be the centerpiece of the 49ers offense for years to come. As the team's starting quarterback, he will be tasked with leading a group that includes top-tier players on both offense and defense. While it remains to be seen how quickly Lawrence will adjust to the professional level, his potential is undeniable, and the 49ers management believes they have found their future leader. The contract signing comes after weeks of negotiation between Lawrence's representatives and the 49ers front office. Terms of the deal have not yet been disclosed, but it is expected to be a lucrative agreement that reflects Lawrence's status as one of the most coveted players in the draft. The signing also marks the beginning of the 49ers' 2025 season preparations, which are already in full swing. For Lawrence, the transition from college football to the NFL is a significant step, but he remains focused on his goal of winning championships. It's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to get to work with the team, Lawrence said upon his arrival. I've always admired the 49ers' legacy, and I'm looking forward to contributing to their success. As the 49ers gear up for the upcoming season, Lawrence's presence in the locker room and on the field will undoubtedly be one of the most closely watched storylines in the NFL. Fans are eager to see how quickly he can adapt to the fast-paced professional game and whether he can help the team achieve their ultimate goal of returning to the Super Bowl. Only time will tell, but for now, all eyes are on Trevor Lawrence as he embarks on his NFL journey with the San Francisco 49ers. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.